Today, we aim to conquer Skyrim and defeat the World Eater Alduin with one thing.
Cheese!
That's right. Why bother drinking awful tasting potions or getting your sweet roll stolen when you could just consume an entire round of gloriously delicious cheese? Got a sword sticking through your gut and don't know what to do? Just make your enemies watch in horror as you fully heal yourself by devouring 5 rounds of cheese before bashing your warhammer into their cranium. It's not only delicious, but also nutritious. Our goal is simple. Defeat Alduin with only the ability to eat cheese, and steal every piece of cheese from the 9 holds in Skyrim. Now, as a cheese connoisseur, we are only allowed to eat cheese and nothing else that will dampen our taste buds. No potions or other consumables, only cheese. To show our status, we must wear the chef's hat and chef's apron, but other small pieces of jewelry are allowed as long as we're wearing our ensemble. Other than those rules, everything else is on the table and unrestricted for this run. Let's get into it. After waking up from my nappy time, I listened to Ralof and the Rorstad guy, wondering why I can't talk even though I don't have a bind over my mouth like Ulfric does before we enter Helgen. I decided to be in Dark Elf because of their archery skill and tried to give my guy a mustache before naming him Devourer of Cheese. When Alduin decided to show up, I ran into the keep, siding with Ralof because the Legion is trash and they tried to decapitate me. After completing the tutorial, it was time to venture into Embershard Mine and Riverwood for some quick XP and some gear to sell. With that out of the way, I could focus on the first main objective of the run, obtaining our chef's hat and tunic. The easiest way to do this was to travel to Solitude and straight into the basement of the Bard's College, where my outfit was ready to be stolen. After acquiring my outfit, I decided to steal all of the local cheese from Solitude so I could stock up for their journey ahead. For some reason, the shopkeepers in the first store I went to were so aggressive and constantly were on my ass to the point where I had to manually move all of their cheese to the front door so I could steal it without being caught. I know that some of the shopkeepers are like that because you can forge numbers in their books for the Thief Guild quests, but honestly, this was the most annoying shop to steal from out of all of the 9 cities. After my first successful thievery in Solitude, I traveled to Bleak Falls Barrow to complete my first dungeon quest and to get the Dragonstone. I should probably note that the reason why I'm picking up potions and other loot I won't be using is just because I want money. So I can buy cheese and weaponry. After defeating the Overlord and absorbing the Dragon Riz, it was time to fight our first actual dragon. From a distance, with a bow and arrow of course, because my outfit would not stand a chance. And I didn't want to be cooked alive. When the dragon was finally defeated, I learned that...
I can't believe it. You're Dragonborn.
Then, I heard a loud yelling from the sky. I'm wondering why the Greybeards kind of just messaged me on Discord instead. Before going on my trek to see the 4 bearded dudes, I decided to take Lydia with me for now as another backpack like Dora the Explorer, and an extra sword. I know some people might see getting a companion while doing a challenge run as a way of making it easier, but honestly, I was waiting for Lydia's eventual demise, and I didn't really give it much thought at the time since I usually take her anyways. When we finally reached Rorikstead, I stole all of the nearby cheese before running into the first boss battle with the Frost Troll. At first I tried to cheese the battle by standing on a ledge of rocks that he couldn't reach, but he continued to just retreat and heal underneath the ledge after I damaged half of his health. So I decided to dispose of the troll the normal way after cutting down his health. When we finally reached the Grey Bears, that's how I spelled it in my video files for some reason, they just shouted at me and talked about getting a horn, which was very boring and making me hungry, so I stole all of their cheese before obtaining their horn. However, to my surprise, Poop Lady already beat me to it, so I traveled to Riverwood to meet her. Honestly, she feels like the most least likable character in the game. Delphine is just so fucking annoying, and I hate her so much.
I needed to make sure it wasn't a Thalmor trap. I am not your enemy. I already gave you the horn. I'm actually trying to help you. I just need you to hear me out.
After that, I headed to Kynes Grove and took out the dragon there and their entire supply of cheese before taking a trip to the Thalmor embassy. For this section, I know I have to take off my chef's outfit because I needed to equip my party clothes, which could be considered a failure of the run, I guess, but it's a requirement for the game, so I don't really care. I didn't realize that anything you didn't give to Malborn would basically disappear from your inventory, so I had to reload a save and place everything into a barrel on the nearby farm before redoing the quest. During the escape, I managed to save the prisoner and Malborn somehow and race past the frost troll because I was on the struggle bus when I tried to take him down multiple times. At this point in the game, it was becoming clear that my absolute lack of real armor was making it harder for me to tank damage like I normally would on a regular playthrough. Because of this, I decided to do another cheese run in Whiterun to load up my inventory of cheese, especially with the Alduin battle in the near future. I also purchased Breeze Home in Whiterun. Oh my god. I also purchased Breeze Home in Whiterun just to have a place to store shit to sell before traveling to Riften to join the Cool Kids Club and to get Esborn out of his emo era. Since the Skyhaven Temple was close to Markarth, I decided to raid them next for their lackluster amount of cheese. While exploring an entrance to some ruins I found in Markarth, I came across the strange color glitch on my screen and was able to use my sneaky archery skills to take down a centurion. I also snagged Lydia some newfound drummer armor and weapons, so I didn't have to see her annoying face anymore, so that was another bonus. I was going to do the Forsworn Conspiracy quest, which is why I started it, but I realized that since I have stolen items, the guards might confiscate them from me if I'm thrown into jail later on in the quest, so I decided to leave it unfinished for now before entering the temple, which was boring. Now, it was time for me to raid Winterhold and the college for any traces of cheese. Since I barely used any magic at all during the playthrough, I had little experience in the magic traits, so I just brute forced my way into the college by saying how special I am being the Dragonborn. When I entered the college, a dragon was able to attack in the courtyard, which caused the leader of the college to mess up her dialogue, so I couldn't take a tour of the college and do the quest correctly. So instead, I went straight to the library and searched for the Elder Scrolls books so I could get the exact location of Septimus Septic Tank and take his stupid Minecraft block. When I finally reached Alfenton, I think that's how you say it, I tried to breeze through the first section as much as possible because I knew getting through Blackreach was going to take a while. Along the way, I encountered tougher Dwemer enemies, but the final boss battle at the end before Blackreach was tough, with the Centurion and the 2 NPCs. Somehow, Lydia and I managed to pull through. I'm not really sure how she hasn't managed to die or disappear off the face of the earth yet, but, you know, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. And we entered Blackreach. While I was there, I decided to collect all the 30 Crimson Nirnroot just because, and I was able to take out most of the Centurions with my high sneak and archery skills. After pressing random buttons, I grabbed the Elder Scroll and to prepare for the upcoming battle with Alduin, I raided some more cities. I decided to travel back to Riften to do some Thieves Guild quests, which were intimidating people and stealing everyone's cheese, to let them know that neither I or the Thieves Guild were to be messed with. While I was in Riften, I discovered a glitch where if you jump off a building a certain way and over the wall, you can get outside of the city boundaries and explore the world, but still be shown as being inside Riften, which kind of remind me of like Dr. Bosch, the Fallout New Vegas series. After my world glitching detour, I made my way to Windhelm, where, to my surprise, I found Malborn in hiding. I never explored all of the buildings in Windhelm before, so I never knew you could just find him there after the Thalmor quest was over. I shouldn't have just killed him since he was so paranoid about the Thalmor assassins, but I did the little side quest and killed the assassin lingering around on the road, so Malborn can finally despawn into oblivion. Although I still had very limited protection against being burned alive, I felt better with my replenishment of cheese and using Lydia as a human shield. After blinding myself with paper, Alduin decided to show up, and I'm gonna be honest, this was so much easier than I thought it would be. I know part of it was due to Lydia still being alive, but the fight was easy since I could just dodge all of his attacks and shoot him with arrows from a distance. Compared to the previous fight in Blackreach against the Centurions, those fights were harder and a lot more scarier because they would just actually come after you. With Alduin half defeated, it was time for another 2 cheese raids in Morthal and Dawnstar. At this point in the game, I knew I was going to need a lot more spare cheese if I wanted to get past future enemies, so I grabbed as much as I could and consumed anything I couldn't carry. Now, it was time for everyone's favorite quest, the Peace Council. This was so much worse than I remembered it being. It took 10 freaking minutes to get through this bullshit, and I walked away to do things as I was waiting for this misery to be over with. I would rather play through the entire Civil War questline than to wait and sit through this endless dialogue shit that no one cares about for 10 freaking minutes. After the end of this meeting, Poop Lady tries to pull me aside and tell me to kill Parthenax, but I ignored her and instead traveled to Whiterun to capture my pet dragon. It's been a while since I played through the entire main quest, so for some reason I thought I had to defeat him first before he would surrender and be captured, but I soon realized that wasn't the case when I saw his health bar stay the same. So, a second time I was able to actually capture him, and together we flew off to Skeldolphin. Before entering Sovngarde, I tried to battle against the Dragon Priest, but combined with the dragon and all of the Draggr enemies trying to dogpile me in the background and like a 0 armor rating, I knew I just needed to speed past and jump through the portal. When I had to fight Izun, he immediately beat my ass straight into hell, so I knew I needed to deploy a trick and cheese the fight. After a few attempts, I finally pushed him over into the waterfall and into the depths below, allowing me to win the fight and take all of the cheese from the Hall of Valor. Now, the final battle between the cheese connoisseur and Alduin was upon us. And I'm gonna be honest, these Alduin fights are too easy. Like, I don't understand how this guy became the World Eater, like Destroyer of Worlds, when I'm over here devouring wheels upon cheese wheels from every freaking city in Skyrim. And it was clear who was going to win this battle and come out on top. After my victory, I warped back to Parthenax, gave him a little kiss, and traveled to Falkreath to steal all of their cheese. 'Cause I kind of forgot about them, but, you know. Yeah. Now, with every city conquered, it was time to end this challenge with nothing better than assassinating Lydia. It was finally time to say goodbye, and Adela Vista bitch, as she ascended to the heavens by being shouted off of a cliff. So, yeah, that basically wraps things up for this challenge, and thank you so much for watching. I'm planning on uploading more often, thinking about like every other week, but I'll have to see how scheduling and everything works out. I was really busy during the holidays and working a lot more than I would have liked, but now I'm gonna try and upload more consistent. Stay tuned for the next one. I'm out.